Hey guys, it's your boy Marco coming at you before this episode begins to let you know that you are about to hear part of Paper Airplane's song Rope, which is off of their new EP, which came out last week entitled Stay Away. You can listen to Stay Away on Spotify, Apple Music, and even Napster, which we hilariously talk about in this interview. There are some parts within the interview where the audio gets a little bit rough, but I try to clean it up as much as possible, and it is still very, very enjoyable and very, very listenable. So I hope you enjoy Rope and also this episode. And if you want to hear more, like I said, they have their new EP, Stay Away, out wherever you get your music. All right, let's get this shit started.
Tried to forget you, but I can't. I tried not loving you, but I can't shake the feeling that you're the reason that I breathe, the reason that I try, the reason that I smile, the reason I'm alive. It's not easy to trust. I've been cast away when I thought I was in love. I wish you could see inside my head. Maybe then you'd understand the things I've said. But I refuse to give up hope. My whole existence is hanging from this rope. I wanna kick the chair, but for you I'll take it off. If that doesn't prove how I feel, are these smart enough?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this 9th episode of the Closers Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Marco Alvarado, and joining me, as always, is Quinn, the Moondog. Kalani, woo! That was more of like a Ric Flair. That wasn't a Moondog, but that works. That's fine. We have a very special guest today. Actually, a couple special guests. Actually, 4 special guests today that comprise one unit, one absolute unit. And before we get to them, actually, I gotta say, please follow us on Instagram at the Closers Podcast, on Facebook at Closers Podcast, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are the Closers Podcast. You can hit the bell, edit your subscription so you can see all of our episodes when they come out. If you're into watching videos, YouTube is for that. So subscribe to that. It helps out the channel a lot. So, Paper Airplanes is our guest. The band, Sacramento rock band, Paper Airplanes. Some of my friends that I've played a show with, I believe once. I think I was at one of your guys. Yeah, I went to another one of your shows. So I've seen you guys twice, played with you guys once. It was a great time back at the Colony. And Quinn, I think you had something that you wanted to ask him right off the bat.
Yeah, fellas, I'm pretty much, if you guys could just give us and our listeners just kind of like a brief history lesson. How did you guys come together? And one thing I'm specifically interested is how bands come up with their name. So what is the significance of your band name, Paper Airplanes? How did you guys formulate it, and what does it mean to you?
And as you guys talk, if you guys could introduce yourselves and say what you play, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Should we introduce ourselves? Okay, I'm Damien. I play guitar and sing.
I'm Brady. I play guitar. I'm Jake. I play bass and I sing.
I'm Tony. I stay quiet and play drums.
Yeah, we pretty much. I met Antonio through travel baseball when we were like 12.
Yeah, 5th grade or so.
And then when I started my first band, I needed a drummer, and he was like the only drummer I knew. So it just kind of worked out like that. And then when I had met Damien, we played a solo show together. I annoyed him for like a couple weeks and was like, hey, let's get together and jam. And we finally did it.
That about it was summer. It was the summer of 2018, so a couple years ago. It was right before our senior year started that you hit me up saying that you were starting a new project, and I was like, I was super excited that we were going to start something new, especially with the freedom that senior year that brings. Like, I knew we could do a lot and go really far, so I was really excited.
Nice.
And then,
We've always known Brady from Marigold, and we finally bugged him like a year into the band to join us. And we had like a test. I think our first show with you was the Oakland show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we played a show with him in Oakland just to kind of test things out, and it was really cool. So
what venue in Oakland did you guys play in?
the Oakland Secret house venue.
Nice.
They have an indoor stage, and then the backyard is sick. It's like stairs down, and it's just really like hidden between these buildings. It's pretty sick.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've never been there, but it sounds really cool. So where did the name come from?
Well,
I don't know.
Talking about naming, implying that there is an importance in the band name always. That's really true.
Yeah, it was a little bit of like brainstorming stuff that sounded cool. And it's like with free candy, we were always able to have cool merch just because the name, so Paper Airplanes, it just kind of stuck out with that. But there is a bit of symbolism behind it, I think. Like if you look up some stuff like symbolisms of Paper Airplanes, like being able to like rise up and come down and all that stuff.
Mm,
all that ego stuff. Yeah. Also just sounding cool.
And it was really easy logo.
Yeah.
It's just
Well,
the paper.
It's kind of like origami, right? Making something out of a two-dimensional surface.
Totally.
Yep. Taking flight with just the simple uses around you, making the most out of what you got, basically. That's what I take away from the name.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's really cool. Yeah. So you guys just recently put out an EP last Friday, I believe, called "Stay Away." Congratulations.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it sounds fucking awesome. I know that Quinn also mentioned to me before we started that, like, it sounded pretty good, right? Like you were like kind of impressed.
Yeah, I vibed with it. I really vibed with the drum work. So shout out for that. I thought it was really dope.
Thank you.
And I was interested listening to it about your guys' creative process. I'm not real musically inclined myself, so I have no fucking clue. Do you guys, when you do it, is it lyrics first and then music, or is it music first then lyrics?
It certainly depends on the song.
It depends on the song.
Like Rope was like, that was all you.
Yeah. Definitely. I think all of the songs were musically first, and then the lyrics came later. But how we came to form them as a band all like are different. Like a couple of the songs, like Rope, I had written completely by myself, like the structure of the song, and then I brought it in, and then we like tweaked it a little bit to fit the full band vibe. Stay Away I've had since my sophomore year of high school, before this band even existed.
Yeah.
Santa Trauma came from me and Jake just jamming. Like all of them just came from different places.
Cool. So each one kind of happens organically. There's not like a set structure.
Exactly.
Totally,
a lot of jamming. We at one point we probably could be considered a jam band. So.
Can you guys describe the themes or the big overall theme of the EP, if there is one?
Stay away.
Yeah.
Well, no, like the reason why we went with like choosing "Stay Away" as the title track wasn't because we thought it was like the most significant song on the album, but that song set kind of a mood over the rest of the EP, where some of this stuff is talking about like self-destructive behavior and Tinder and stuff like that, and pushing people away, whether they're there for you, or they're trying to support you and stuff like that, and trying to overcome situations like that, I think.
So my follow-up question to that would be then, with the EP and with those themes in mind, those are things that you guys have faced all I can imagine individually and as a group, you know, the adversity that comes with being in a band and making music. So, I mean, there's been nothing quite like the coronavirus and COVID in terms of adversity for music. So how have you guys kind of like have you guys been able to navigate that like virus induced state that the music industry is kind of in? Have you guys been able to navigate that well, or has that been kind of a challenge?
Bro, it's so fucked.
Yeah.
It's just fucked, bro. That's it.
Yeah.
It's forced us. It's forced us to work at home quite a bit, like in the studio and whatnot, and songwriting. You know, so not having the time to dedicate to shows has forced time in other aspects. So that's certainly appreciated, but I guess like something appreciated in these times isn't quite right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely helped us with our creativity and just being able to craft new songs and really tighten up the already existing material. But it also just takes away from the exposure of playing shows and just the like fun and release of going to a live show.
Yeah, that makes sense. With like, I know in the beginning a lot of bands weren't able to kind of meet and practice. So did you guys individually write anything that is going to be worked on in the future, or are you guys sticking to that more jam band philosophy of just when we get together we'll figure that out?
It kind of depends still, because I think like as like an artist yourself, like you get ideas and you're like, oh, like that sounds kind of cool. I'll put it on voice memo or whatever. And like with me myself, like that's kind of where I start to find some success, like within the group, is like getting an idea and then bringing it to everybody together. And even if we're all together, it's that same kind of thing of like, okay, here's like a progression for like 30 seconds. That's really, really sick. Let's just like get that down and see where we can go with it. And we kind of just took it from there, I think.
Exactly.
As soon as we could, try to take advantage of all the time we have and all that.
Yeah. No, I definitely understand that. It all has to start somewhere. And but it's just interesting because like I know that not most, but some of the bands I know, they have like designated like songwriters and stuff, but it seems like you guys are very about the process of getting there together as a unit, which is really interesting. I think that's really cool. Everybody gets their own influences in on every song. So with that little segue, what are your guys' individual influences musically?
Blink-182.
I could hear that. In the bass line for the first song. I think it was Beer. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, the intro for Beer.
Yeah,
probably like, I don't know, what would you say?
I don't know. We'll just go with individuals.
Yeah.
Because as a band, I feel like
it varies.
Yeah.
For me personally, surprisingly, Linkin Park was a big influence when I first started writing and just like listening to music. My favorite band of all time is Balancing Composure, so they definitely played a big part in this kind of stuff. I also listen to a lot of emo rap like Cold Heart and Lil Peep and people like that. So my influences come from all over the place.
Nice.
Really?
My playing style for Paper Airplanes is so different depending on the song in a sense. Like I don't know, like I would just say like my biggest influences personally are like Title Fight and a band called Pup. But like
Pup.
When it comes to Paper Airplanes, I just kind of close my eyes and see where it takes me.
So you're adaptable. You kind of mesh all your influences together in a way, or do you just kind of use whatever works for the song?
I'm more of a go with the flow kind of play style. Just see what they want. If their facial expression is like happy, then I'll stick with it. If it's like not happy, then I'll change it fast.
Nice. Yeah, that's simple.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope. So you guys when you guys are in the creative process, there's a lot of experimentation as you're creating, is what you're saying.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's cool.
And then trial and error.
And then Jake, I know Blink is a huge influence for you. Are there any other bands or artists that have kind of seeped into your writing or your playing style too?
Yeah. Honestly, especially with this project, like I've been listening to a lot more local music in general. So it's weird saying like, oh, I get influenced. There's this band Mastoids from Sacramento where I'll listen to their album like 2 times a day, you know, and it's hard not to take influence from stuff like that. And same thing with this band Marigold that some loser is in behind us. But you know, a lot of stuff like that where it's like at that point it's like pulling away influences from influences and like looking into like the history of like these bands and stuff like that. But
yeah, I mean, it's a giant mesh of personal, and it's a giant mesh of like personal influences, not necessarily one.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, like personally, my biggest inspiration on drums is like Phil Robinson from a band called Autopilot Off. And then Wyatt from Mastoids, and then Sean Nelson, of course. So, I mean, how could he not be? But it's more about the individual rather than one band.
Totally.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, after a while, after you've been doing it for X amount of time, it just becomes subconscious at some point. You start finding inspirations in the minutia of everyday life.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think every musician wants to find their own, their own sound and their own connection to their music, and I think the ability that we've all gone through together with being able to create stuff collectively has really changed the process from other projects that we've worked on in the past.
Yeah. Actually, that goes perfectly into my next question. How does this project differ from the projects that each of you individually have been in the past? I should say.
You know what we're doing.
I would just say like the experience that I've played in a few bands. I played in a band called Free Candy, and I played in a band called Side Effect for about a year. And like at that time, it was probably like the most fun I had. Like it was really like an introduction to the whole scene, just playing so many shows with so many people and whatnot. And you really start to like meet people and become friends with people. It's not even really making connections. It's just like putting yourself out there to a community of people who, are pretty open to everybody at the end of the day. So I would say probably just taking like past experiences from learning from other bands and stuff like that and applying them to a new project has been like probably the biggest part of that.
Definitely. Because whenever you're in your first band or two, like you definitely have, like every band has trial and error, but especially like starting out, like you're going to mess up a lot. And when you go into new bands and new projects, you can definitely like point out your past mistakes and make sure you don't make those same mistakes with your new project. So basically what Jake said, like it's a lot of like making sure, like learning from your past experiences and either doing the same thing but better or not doing those things depending on what you're talking about.
I see. And I can imagine it also comes with just maturity just from like growing as a person too. Certain emotions and things, like certain things begin to matter less and other things begin to matter more as you grow too. So I can imagine it's the same for you guys.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So with the music scene, I don't know if you guys saw the episode I did with Brianna Carmel recently, but with the music scene as it stands now, there's been a lot of like revelations in terms of certain bands, certain members of bands being accused of, sexual misconduct and all those, sort of things. How has that kind of affected you guys, if at all? And how do you think bands and artists should navigate, the scene and just music in general from here on out? Because it really feels like there's a turning of a page, not just within the sax scene, but within just music in general.
It sort of affected some people a lot more than others.
Yeah, it definitely affected me because one of the people that has been accused recently is a former bandmate of mine. I won't go into much detail about it, but it's definitely just opened my eyes personally to kind of realize that it really could be anyone, and not necessarily to like be suspicious of everyone, but like definitely just hold people accountable regardless of who they are. And I think that's the biggest thing that people in bands should do.
Definitely.
Is hold people accountable. I don't think just because it's your friend or your bandmate, you should let anything slide. It seems obvious enough, but it's just, I feel like it's not that hard to be a good person and just not do stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I feel like that's what people in bands should do. That should be the bare minimum.
Yeah, just don't be a piece of shit.
And then as far as just bringing awareness to it, just make it known that you stand with victims. Like I've tried to make it very clear that I stand with victims. I support people like that. I don't want people to be afraid to come to shows because a certain person or a certain band will be there. We've always done our best to make it a welcoming community.
Oh yeah, definitely. I know your guys' like fandom is so like not just like they're like rabid for you guys. Like they love the music. Which is really cool to see, but also something that glares out is that a lot of them are really young too. So I think it's important. It was really important for you guys to kind of come out and say something. That was really cool that you guys did.
Yeah, and we've always felt like this and wanted to make it a welcoming thing. We've just made it more apparent now recently because of all of these things coming out about sack bands and like just the music scene in general. Like almost every day I'm finding out about someone new.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, like, don't take this the wrong way, but like we kind of figured we were big enough that we had to say something like that.
Yeah, of course.
So
Yeah, like using the platform for the betterment of creating a safer community,
yeah,
is the underlying factor in all of it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work to do, and someone's got to do it.
Yeah, of course.
So you guys are going out of your way to make sure you don't like associate with those bands anymore or those people, or is it more of like a
yes,
yeah.
Yeah, okay. For sure. I just had to ask that.
It's like
So,
a
like-
black.
What was that?
It's more like a blacklist type thing. Like we don't want to see them, period, at our shows or in
Yeah.
general. Like total cutoff.
Yeah.
So
There's no exceptions.
Yeah.
Exactly.
For sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Quinn, do you have anything?
No, I don't have anything to add to that conversation. I feel like you guys summed it up perfectly.
For sure. So I want to
Thank
talk
you.
about the scene overall, because it's really cool to see like so many bands that not just play the same like kind of music, but that they like each band has its own niche. And I mean like you guys and like you said Mastoids and Marigold, like that kind of subgroup of bands within the sax scene. How did you guys come about like interacting with those bands too and forming that kind of subgroup within the sax scene?
So, yeah, this goes back to when I met Brady. Was it freshman year?
it was your freshman.
It was my
Yes.
freshman year, so that's 5 years ago.
That's
Jesus Christ.
yeah. Brady, Jake, and myself, just all went to the same high school.
Yeah.
And the Rio music community just allowed us to find our way and meet. So
Mhm. Yeah.
and so obviously that led to the first band Sofo, and then the relationship with Brady was still strong enough that when they created Marigold, it was still really tight. And then as far as Mastoids and stuff,
Yeah, Mastoids is a band that they were formerly known as Simple Jack, and I had seen them a few times at First Fest one year, another time at Shine. And they're sweet dudes. I always looked up to them, and then it was like we played. I think our first show with them was Fuck Cancer. Was it either 2017 or 2018, and just like it just blew my mind away. Like the way and like that they're playing their instruments, and their drummer Wyatt just beats the shit out of his drums. Like he's just an animal. It just really blew my mind to like a new world of music. So it's like you want to be closer with these guys that you kind of look up to, but you start to get to know them, and they're really just great people and great friends.
Yeah.
a lot lot of it has just been through shows.
Totally.
So, I mean, with the exception of Marigold, because that was just a direct connection. But just networking at shows has been like just been really important.
Definitely.
It's great because I mean the scene is so welcoming. You know, it's not like, oh man, that band sucks. Like we're just gonna ignore them all night.
Yeah.
That's definitely not how it is.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
why we're friends with Mary.
So you guys
No,
have also.
we're still like good.
Hey,
What was
no
that?
Negative. No negative.
I self burn. It's okay.
Oh no, it's okay. My question was going to be, so you guys have played not just in Sacramento, but you guys have played almost like all of Northern California, really, right?
Even
Yeah.
Southern California.
Yeah, we've gone more to Southern California, but it's all been a blast. Everywhere we've been, that's been pretty welcoming for the most part.
Yeah.
That's cool.
How would you guys compare the music scenes via geography? What is the difference between the Sacramento scene versus the Bay Area versus Southern California?
Yeah, it's really, I mean, I would say like in our like stem of genres, you know, I don't want to say just one genre, but I would say like in the alternative scene, I guess is what I would call it. At least like in between like the Bay and like we're considered like Northern California, like Central. Right?
Us?
Yeah,
we're
Northern.
Northern.
We're Northern. There's really like starting to be a bridge that kind of goes across to these bands to where we're communicating more and, you know, talking more and whatnot, and really starting to link up, you know, to get them over here and play shows pre-COVID and all that, you know,
Yeah.
but really just getting together and trying to
I mean,
link that gap.
I mean, more on YouTube. Like, how was it that with? Because I couldn't make that tour, but how was it with networking with the SoCal bands and whatnot?
It was cool. Like it's weird, but also really cool because like everywhere has different sounds, and you can kind of like just notice that someone's not like from a specific place because of how they sound musically. But overall, like everywhere I played, like Los Angeles, San Diego, San Francisco, like all these different places, like they're all just a welcoming scene. Like there really haven't been that many bad experiences with shows in SAC or out of SAC.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, we've been pretty lucky.
yeah, we've definitely been lucky with the bands we played and the places we played.
Yeah, definitely. With geography in mind, and also like venues specifically, what are your guys' favorite venues to play, if you have any favorite places?
Honey Hive.
Honey Hive, Colony.
Yeah, Honey Hive in San Francisco is just right on the coast. It's beautiful.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Honey Hive is
Yeah.
sick. Yeah.
My favorite tour was The Smell in LA. I like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
We played on the floor instead of the stage, but I didn't even care.
That was
I-
Gilman too.
yeah, same with Gilman.
I would say my favorite venue is Gilman, but I've had better experiences there than they've had, so that probably leads more to my reasoning on that.
Yeah.
Oh
Right.
man.
But you got to play on the stage, so
Yeah.
that certainly helps.
Yeah.
what were your guys' experiences at Gilman that he's referring to? I'm curious.
Well, yeah, there was one show. It wasn't too densely populated, but they made us play on the floor, so that wasn't very cool.
When there was just a
Yeah.
stage?
That's about it. Yeah, there's a stage like right behind us, like it's Gilman, but we played on the floor.
I mean, we still went hams.
Yeah.
We still went hard as fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was kind of that extra like, oh, like we're on the floor, like we might as well just go ham and like break our hands and shit, you know?
Yeah.
Went
Yeah.
hard for like the 15 to 20 people that were there, but the show's a show.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. When it comes to fans and cultivating a fan base, like for people who want to get into music and kind of, you know, don't know where to start with in terms of showing music to or creating a fan base or any sort of fan base, like what would be your advice to those people who are seeking some advice?
Just start with your friends. I mean, your friends are, you know, your friends to support you anyways.
There's
right?
like a 10 out of like there's like a 10 out of 5 chance they probably play guitar. So you have a good shot there, you know.
Yeah, if you're not a solo drummer.
Honestly, it's not fun. Just
Yeah.
Don't write music to try and get a fan base. Write music because you enjoy it. Because if you write music just to be famous, you're gonna hate it.
Yeah.
So don't force it.
Yeah, but if you write
Right.
music to have fun, naturally people are probably going to pick up onto it. And
Yeah.
all it really takes is just making friends with people and not being afraid to show people. Because I
Yeah.
remember when I first started writing music, I was terrified to perform in front of anyone or show anyone my music.
But now this dude likes to play on stage and go ham, but won't play drums at a music store. You know?
I can't play drums in a music store, but I'm fine with playing in front of like 120 people at the Colony. But yeah, I would say it's just don't be afraid to show people and don't be afraid to take criticism either. Because do what you want to do, but ultimately, as long as people aren't being a dick, like criticism can actually help a lot. And I took constructive criticism in my early on songwriting, and especially with my voice, because I did not have the strongest singing voice. I still don't, but I'm still learning. And don't be afraid to annoy people too. Like not in like a serious way, but like I kind of annoyed people. Like, hey, I have the show, and I remind them like 5 times before the show. Hey, like when like leading up to Stay Away coming out, I was posting about it almost every day.
Yeah.
Like I was really just making sure that like people knew about it, because even if they don't check it out, like even if every single person on my social media that I reach out to doesn't listen to it, it still gives them the option, like they know about it now, and that can't hurt.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the worst thing that people can say is no, basically, is what you're saying, which is true. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like that scene in the beginning of Back to the Future. You're just too darn loud. Thank you.
So you guys were, you're talking about, remaining authentic and how that's the easiest way to connect with people, to reach with people. As you guys grow in popularity and as you guys get bigger and bigger continually, what sort of trials or what sort of hurdles kind of come with that to try to keep you guys from being authentic?
Well, I mean, we certainly haven't been asked to take pictures in public with, so the thing hasn't gone to our heads too much. But I'm not at that point yet where we're like, we're the shit, we're top dog. So
yeah,
say easily.
Yeah. And we can say a lot of things right now on how we think we can keep our heads, but at the end of the day, it's just words. We are not actually going to know until we get there.
Yeah.
I would like to hope that we take that energy and mold it into a way that we can help others to achieve their goals as well, instead of create like this whole attitude of elitism. I'd rather create like an opening.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely. I don't want us to be like, the bigger we get, I don't want us to be like these rock stars that like people can't touch or talk to, because we're just normal guys, and no matter how big or small our band ends up being, like we're just normal people.
Right. That goes back to what you guys are saying about maintaining that intrinsic motivation. You got to keep doing it for yourselves for the right reasons. The moment you start letting outside influences dictate the way you guys play or write or how you guys do things, that's when you stop being honest with yourselves,
So I have a kind of a fun question. Can you take us through just an average Paper Airplanes practice, like band practice?
Okay,
What happened? Like how does that go?
Get there so usually Tony and I get there like a half an hour early and start making out before they get there. We just kind of go from there. It varies every time.
It's either that or 12-bar blues jam.
Yeah, love jamming on the blues. And then when Jake and Damien get there, we get down to business.
Yeah, usually we'll start by rehearsing old tunes as a warm-up. and then that's pretty quick. Most of our songs aren't that long, but maybe that'll take 15, 20 minutes to get through the stuff, and then a lot of our rehearsals is just dedicated to songwriting. Almost always they'll have a new project or a new song they want to propose, and so we'll work on that, and then we'll go through other works and projects, and that really those two items really take up the majority of our time, and then boom, like 2 hours is gone.
Also with the 2 or 3 water breaks, because it gets insanely hot in our practice space.
I'm gonna say it probably gets to about 110.
Yeah,
Oh, shit.
110 outside right now, so it's probably a little hotter in there.
Yeah, that's why we're in the
Wow.
bedroom, not the rehearsal shed.
Where do you guys practice at?
I have a little shed in my backyard that we cleared out like a few months ago.
Yeah.
And it's sweet. Like, we have enough space, which is nice. Like, it's a little bit snug, but it could, like, at least we have a space to practice at. We have like 4 or 5 fans in there that we just keep on at all times when we're in there, but it's still like when it is how it is this week and this weekend, it's just can't get anything done in there.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, for anybody listening doesn't know, for some reason, it's like consistently above 109 these next like 4 days.
Yeah.
Upwards of like 110, 113.
It's going to be 111 on Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
For
Yeah,
the
that's
people
it's
who-
rough.
Wait, maybe it's Tuesday. The other T day.
It's on Tuesday. I get to miss it.
Oh, dude, you're so.
I get to miss it. I'm leaving town Monday. Yes.
Yeah, that's my next question actually. So you go to school as well, out of the city, out of town, I should say. Where do you go?
Yeah. So I'm going to Waldorf College in Iowa, and so study music performance with a business minor.
Oh,
And
wow.
so out there running track for him. And so I'm out there for about 4 months, and I come back on the big breaks, on winter break and on summer break. And a huge thank you to these guys for being so patient, sticking by me when I'm in school. But that's not nice. Anyway, so I'll come back on the big breaks, and when I'm here, it's crunch time. Like in the studio, almost as many shows as we can get. The exception being now, but the summer has been super super busy with a lot of studio time, and so it's just been crunch time when I've been home this summer and whenever I am home. So just looking forward to what else we can have in store when I'm home.
Wow. So
yeah.
like,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. So like you guys already have like everything pre-planned, at least like you have your whole year planned almost, because when he's going to be home. So like there's like it's kind of sectioned out already. That's interesting.
Yeah, with the exception of some of last minute shows.
Yeah, totally.
As far as like studio time, and some of the bigger shows are definitely pre-planned.
Yeah. When it comes to studio time, how was that experience while recording Stay Away? Was it pretty easy recording all those songs, or?
Yeah, engineer Trevor Hilton was just fantastic.
He's the easiest person to work with, I swear.
Yeah, we went to Trevor. He plays in the band Private Coast. Phenomenal engineer. He was just like, I've never really worked with somebody where like we can hear something and he's like, oh, I know exactly what we need to do to get that just wall of sound that you're imagining. And stuff like that. It was really just a lot of experimenting with him, I think, that got us to like that final mix that we were finally happy with.
Right. And the fact that he's around the same age as all of us too just like blows my mind, because I've worked with people that are like around the same age as us that like do good, don't get me wrong, but like there's definitely a lot to learn over just the course of time. And Trevor just knows exactly what he's doing. And I want to say he's like 19 or 20. Like he's like very young.
That's crazy. Yeah, mixing is tough.
Yeah.
There's a lot of intricacies. So that's really impressive. You said he plays for Private Coast?
Yeah, he's the guitarist.
Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah, I don't think I've seen them before play, but I've heard of them. Definitely.
Yeah, check out. They have 2 EPs out right now. It's definitely worth a listen.
All slappers.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Since you guys have been kind of, I mean, every musician has just kind of been on pause for the past like 5 months. Have you guys picked up anything outside of music? Like any hobbies or anything? Maybe a new job or something like that? Anything new, exciting happening in your guys' lives?
Brady.
Yeah, so I just got back from Maine, actually. If COVID hadn't happened this year, obviously we'd be playing a lot more shows. I'd probably still be working my stupid desk job at an eye insurance company. So thank God for COVID, because that didn't happen. And instead, I got an opportunity to go to Maine and work at a rich kid summer camp for 7 weeks.
Wow.
I'm talking like a rich kid summer camp. Like one of the kids left on a private jet.
What?
Dude, I'm dead ass serious. Okay, so I'll just give you like a short little story from like one of these adventures, because these kids are many, bro. They're insane.
Yeah.
So after lunch every day, we had a thing called canteen where the kids could go up and get like a piece of candy or like a drink or something after lunch every day. In the cabin next door to mine, the kids decided to open up a massage parlor and charge people their canteen. So my campers were like, hey, I want canteen. We should do that too. And so they opened up their own canteen or their own massage parlor business.
Yes,
but they were undercutting the prices.
Yeah. Free market. Free market.
So a price war started going on, and these kids are like, they send like emissaries to the other cabin to negotiate trade deals and stuff. Like this whole market going on. And then a collection agency forms of all the bigger kids.
Oh my God.
If your kid didn't pay up for a massage, you get a knock on your cabin door of 3 12-year-olds with hockey sticks. Yeah, so as a counselor, I'm like, this shit has to stop. This is so out of line. But then I'd shut the door and burst out laughing because it's funny as fuck, bro. Like these 10-year-olds and 12-year-olds are creating a great economic story.
Dude, and then they form like a mob, like the mafia. It's like, hey, you got to pay up if you're going to be on this block. Like, what?
Those are the leaders of
tomorrow. The best
tomorrow.
part about it, too, is the person who led... Yeah, dude, the best person, the person who led it, the 12-year-old, was heavy Italian, like Italian accent.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
Dude. He was the Don. It was great.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds like quite the experience. Holy shit. Did you show any of the kids your guys' music while you were out there?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I wrote a lot of music. I checked out the stuff. Oh, they didn't. So my campers loved it, but then the younger kids, I played a couple songs. It's like a talent show type thing, and like a couple weeks go by, and these like 2 6-year-olds walk up to me like, "Hey, you're the person who played that punk rock song at the talent show." I'm like, "Yeah, that's me." And they're like, "Yeah, that sucked ass." I'm just like, "Okay." Thanks, little kid. And then they proceed to have a conversation next to each other as I'm still standing there like, "Oh yeah, the music staff last year was so much better." I'm just like, I am still a foot away from you. Like, come on.
God.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my
They
God.
brag about their home studios, like movie theaters and stuff.
Oh my goodness.
Dude, the amount of sass that kids have nowadays, it's insane. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy.
I had some fun. We got one of our punishments is we got a squirt bottle, and anytime one of the kids was bad, we just start squirting them, saying, "No, bad."
Bro, you're treating them like a cat at that point.
Oh yeah, no, it was fantastic. They're wild animals, bro. They thought it was a good idea to throw rocks at a window because they didn't think it would shatter. So like we walk outside and we're like, "Hey, stop throwing rocks," and as we're yelling at him to stop throwing rocks, he throws another rock and shatters the window.
Oh my God. Yeah, you definitely had your hands full. When did you get back from that?
Last night at midnight.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Just in time.
yeah, I came from Nebraska, actually. I was there wishing my sister good luck at college.
Nice. Nebraska, you said?
The university.
Yeah, Creighton University.
Got you.
Quinn used to live in Nebraska for a short
That's
time.
Oh yeah, yeah. I used to live in Nebraska. Ventured into Iowa several times. The Great American Desert. is what
We
they
got
call
to
it.
talk. We got to talk.
How is it out in the Midwest for those of you that have visited over there? Because I know I was talking to Damien at the last show I was able to catch. You guys were like hoping to start touring out there too. So have there been any connections established?
Not yet, no.
Well, COVID's kind of put a stop to that for now.
Yeah, we've played with a few bands from the Midwest and a few bands who are from more like the West Coast who go there frequently. And we were really hoping to kind of like push something towards the summer, being able to venture out more. But
I know it'd make things a lot easier for me.
yeah,
I
doing
can imagine.
spring break Midwest tour, something like that would be fun. But
Yeah, exactly.
we'll just have to see where the cards lie next year around.
Certainly.
Yeah, hopefully
Yeah, we
people
saw-
start wearing
certainly-
masks.
Yeah, we got. There's still more networking that needs to be done, but we're optimistic.
Yeah.
That's cool. So we're kind of approaching time, but for those people who want to listen to the tracks and follow you guys, where can they follow you guys, and what are the social links?
Paperplanes.ca on Instagram, and I think that's it on Facebook too.
Paper Airplanes 916 on Twitter.
I think it's just Paper Planes CA on Twitter because Paper Airplane CA would be way too long on Twitter.
Yeah.
It's Paper Planes.
Yeah.
But as far as listening goes, we're at every major streaming platform.
Yeah. Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, iHeartRadio,
SoundCloud.
yeah, SoundCloud, Bandcamp, you name it,
Dang.
TikTok, it's there.
Napster though?
Yes,
It
actually.
should be. It should be.
Wow.
We're paying money for it, so it should be.
Also, if you really want to go on LimeWire, I think.
I
Gotta
remember
love
LimeWire.
Gotta love LimeWire. Those viruses, man. They don't make them like they used to.
Yeah. Download Stay Away and get a free malware.
Yeah. Yeah, McAfee Express or whatever, that shitty protection you'd get from like Windows computers. Garbage.
Yeah,
This
like
podcast-
the North ever.
This podcast is brought to you by NordVPN.
NordVPN. Hey, we're working on it, man. We're working on the sponsorships.
Speaking of,
Hey, I'm excited to hear it, though.
Hey, let me know when you guys get Audible though.
Oh, dude. Yeah, that's the big one. We'll know we made it if we get Audible.
Now, you should think out of the box. You should go like Durex or something.
Dude.
Condom Depot. Marco should reach out to whoever Baby Gap he bought that tank top at.
Yeah, dude, I've had this tank top for so long. Dude, I've had this tank top since like sophomore year of high school. Dude, I don't have any more clothes that are like summer ready. Like everything else is fucking
You look like a grown man in that tiny shirt.
Dude, I know, man. Like I don't look skinny. It's weird. But I don't have any other like clean tank tops and it's hot as fuck, so like I don't know. But I'm working on it, man.
Respect.
Yeah. I want that. I'm trying to think like there's no like cool clothing brands that I can think of off the top of my head. That'd be really cool to like sponsor the pod, but
we make tank merch, we'll let you know.
Yeah, when we make tank tops, you'll be the first to know.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Did that tank top come with or without nipple guards?
Yeah, that's the question that everyone asks. I don't know, man. But guys, thank you for coming on. It's been really fun.
Oh, of course. Thank you for smart, Quinn.
Thanks, fellas. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yep. And we will talk to you guys soon, hopefully. We always love to have repeat guests on, so next time, there's an opportunity, I'll definitely reach out.
Well, of course. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'll talk to you guys later. Stay warm, or not stay warm, stay cool as much as you can, because it's a scorcher out there.
Yeah, you guys do. Stay safe.
Yep.
And
Thank
whatnot.
you. And safe travels as well. Okay, guys, that was that conversation with the Sacramento band, Paper Airplanes. Hope you enjoyed that, and hope you enjoyed Quinn talking about my abnormally tight tank top, for which I I know it's very fitted, but literally I don't have another like tank top that's clean at the moment, which made me have to like reach back into my closet and find like the first thing I could to put on. Because when we record these episodes, like people can see me. I have my camera on and stuff, and I didn't want to just have total tits out for it. So I was like, all right, I have to put something on, but it's hot. So I had to put this on. But you know what? Sometimes you just get clowned. You can't win, and that's one of these situations right now.
Can't sneak that by me.
Oh yeah, I know that. I know. I knew I would. I knew you were gonna say something, but I was like, fuck it. It's hot. And I have nothing. I'd rather get clowned than make people feel uncomfortable. So
Have you been affected by any of the rolling blackouts?
no, actually, I haven't. Yeah, nothing's happened yet.
For anyone who's not aware, there's a super gnarly heat wave beating down on California right now. All 100+ days for like last week and this week and next week too, maybe.
Probably next week. I think it stops on Monday, next Monday, not this tomorrow. Well, we're recording on Sunday, so not Monday the 17th, but Monday the 24th. At least where we are in Elk Grove, or where I am. It's going to be 99 degrees on that day. So officially out of triple digits, but still hot as fuck. So I don't know. How are things
Our
out there?
official recommendation is Dasani. Things are chill. It's about 84 degrees. Beautiful, sunny,
Really?
ocean breeze. I don't get to enjoy it at this moment. I'm on the ass end of my quarantine, but a couple more days and then we're out of here.
When is your official last day?
It's either Wednesday or Thursday.
Wow. So you'll be out just in time for closing out the week. How lovely.
Yeah. And there's no, and I mean, yeah.
How has your overall experience been? Like
In my quarantine? It's been fairly chill. I mean, honestly, you really time is lost on you when you're in one location for 24 hours, and it flies by immensely. There was a program in my elementary school that us bad kids would get sent to. It was called ICE.
Oh, aptly named.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and in the ICE program, it'd be, they'd sentence you. You get 1 day in ICE, a week in ICE, and you would literally go to one classroom and sit in one desk for the entirety of the school day. And it was never that bad because the day flew by.
Wow.
And it's much like that now. And they would actually jack the temperature down to keep you awake.
Because hell, kids would just go to sleep.
Yeah. A lot of times, when things get warm, people tend to drift. Well, I'm not the other way because, I'm part reptilian, and when you're cool, you're never hot. So
Ross
it was
G,
easy.
right?
Ross G, shout out. So whenever, it's cold, I'm at my pinnacle. Like Victor Freeze,
Victor Freeze. Your quinnacle?
My quinnacle.
Yeah, I remember I used to get sent to Saturday school sometimes, and that was like our version of that, but it was on Saturdays. And
ooh, that's inhumane.
Yeah, dude, they made kids go on Saturday, and if you didn't go, then you'd get like suspended from school, which I don't know why I showed up, because getting suspended from school literally doesn't mean anything. Like,
yeah, that's
like
very inhumane. That's almost like charging parents of children with felonies, but not quite.
But I mean, we went, but I could work on like homework while I was there, so it wasn't like I had nothing to do.
That was another benefit of those kind of programs, is that your teachers would give you all your work in advance, And then because there was no like social interaction, you could just sit down and do all that work. So by the time you got back to school, everybody'd be like, I have to do page 32, y equals mx plus b. You're already there. You're done.
Yeah, exactly.
You're on to Pythagorean's theorem at this point.
It's true. It's very true. You're already ahead. So before we go further and do weekly recs, I have a bone to pick with you, Quinn, because you put out your favorite gangster flicks on Monday, part of Hang 10, and
this upcoming Monday.
Well, yeah, I mean, by the time this episode's out, it's gonna be.
Oh yeah.
So you put out your list, and I honestly have not watched the ones that you said you probably didn't watch. You're right.
Yeah, the middle three.
The middle three I didn't watch, but I have seen The Godfather. And for you to discount Godfather 1 in the way you did is, as in the words of Stephen A., blasphemous. You're blasphemous. You're soft. That's what I have to say to you. I can't, but like, I understand what you mean that, like Bobby De Niro, Bobby Diesel himself, he brought it. In his portrayal of the Don, Don Corleone, young boy, growing up early 1900s, totally understand, and it's a great movie, and I don't even disagree that it's the better movie, but all I'm saying is, I think Godfather 1 should have gotten a little bit more love. That's all.
Okay. So is your beef with the Godfather 1 was left off the list entirely? Or is that it was not placed number 1?
No, I just think it should have been mentioned more when discussing 2.
Godfather 2.
That's all.
Okay. Well, when I was thinking about it, and I love Godfather 1. It's an absolute classic. It is a master class on dramatic tension and suspense and lighting. People discount the lighting in that movie. That is one of the most beautifully lit films of all time. Now for me it was either Godfather 1 or 2 for the number 1 spot, and I didn't want to like create the list and then Godfather 2 is number 1, Godfather 1 is number 2, because I wanted to put up films that I knew other people hadn't seen.
Yes.
So the reason why I chose Godfather 2 is because the Don Corleone's early story, his early life, portrayed powerfully by Robert De Niro's performance, I think adds so much more depth and nuance to Godfather 1 that otherwise Godfather 1 would not have achieved itself. That's why the Godfather epic is the pinnacle of where it's at.
Yeah.
Because Bobby De Niro's performance
starts off the whole thing.
Starts off the whole thing, and when you watch it before Marlon Brando's, it enhances Marlon Brando's performance exponentially.
I agree 100%.
So that is why that's why I put Godfather 2 above Godfather 1. Now, if it was just a broad list, if I was and everyone had seen the films, Godfather 2 would probably be number 2. Godfather 1 would be number 2. But for the sake of just trying to shed some light on some lesser known films.
No, I understand why you did it too. I understand too, because it's like, just from a pure just logical standpoint, if you want people to watch both films, you will plug the second one, because they're like, well, I'm not just going to watch the second one unless you're like Jose watching Star Wars out of order. But yeah.
I don't understand why Luke and Leia are kissing. Aren't they brother and sister?
Yeah, well, next time he comes on, we got to talk to him about that, because that's a funny story in itself. But consider that a tease.
Well, I mean, my recommended viewing, if I was to tell anyone, if anyone's going to approach me like, I'm thinking about watching The Godfather, slap them. The Godfather epic. There's a distinction that needs to be made. If you're going to watch them, you start with The Godfather epic chronologically. That's the only way to really view the series.
I'm not entirely sure, but does the Godfather epic contain 3 as well?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure there's variations where you can buy it without the third one, but I mean, the third one is part of the story. So
Yeah.
like if you're going to get a box set, the Godfather Epic box set, number 3 is going to be in there, regrettably.
Yeah, that's tough. I think if you can find a version of the epic without the third one, I think that's your best. That's like your best cinematic experience. But if you want like the full story, yeah, then the one that includes.
Honestly, I mean, the third one is not required viewing.
Yeah,
100%. It's not required viewing, and
I consider it more as the epilogue, anyways. Just like
it just falls short of the standard. Maybe it's because the standard of the first 2 films was so high that it's impossible to reach.
Yeah.
But The Godfather 3 definitely started this trend in cinema where the third entry in a franchise tends to be dog shit. This is what started that trend.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I am curious. Do you think the third installment of the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy, do you think that movie's dog shit? The one with Bane?
It's not dog shit, but no, it's not dog shit at all. It's a very serviceable film, but it is my least favorite of the franchise.
Yeah.
Very few films nail that third one. Because, essentially, if you're telling a trilogy, you're telling a 3-act story over 3 films. So you're telling a 3-act story within 9. Very few films have successfully done that. Probably the most famous one is Return of the King.
Yeah, I was just about to say. I think the only trilogy I can think of that has nailed all 3 movies objectively is Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, and Peter Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then again, an argument could be made that The Hobbit was very lackluster. The Hobbit trilogy, failed to reach the heights of the Lord of the Rings.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I do think that this trend is changing. One need look no further than the Marvel Cinematic Universe, particularly the Thor franchise. First film, serviceable. Second film, not so much. Third film, Thor Ragnarok, not only is it the best in the franchise, it is, in my opinion, the best film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So,
which is an interesting argument for sure. I mean,
yeah.
When you're looking at just specifically just one movie as a movie, then yeah. I mean, I think I would agree with you on that.
And it shows the importance of sticking that landing, that third film. I mean, if Thor Ragnarok was not successful, the Thor franchise is deemed unsuccessful. But because Thor Ragnarok hits it, so hard, the ground running, and then takes off soaring, redeems the entirety of that whole franchise and sets up a whole new franchise for this character, Thor Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
So.
It's true. It'll be very exciting to see what happens with that. Also, just like you said that there's like franchises that maybe kind of fumbled the bag when it came to the first 2 and stuck the landing on the third. There's also franchises that fucking all 3 were dog shit. Look at Star Wars. Another trend. All 3.
Well,
in my opinion, in my humble opinion.
Which trilogy are we talking about? Because
the most recent.
Yeah. The most recent one, episodes 7 through 9, a complete and utter failure. Episodes 1 through 3, I know I'm in the minority. The Clone War saga, but I'm a fan of those movies. So, I know I'm in the minority, but they do it for me.
I think the
it's like the Days of Our Lives General Hospital version of Star Wars.
Yeah, if you watch, 4 through 6, if you watch, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and then Return of the Jedi, if you watch those first, you have to just prepare yourself mentally for the difference in tone if you're going to go jump into the prequels, because if you are expecting that same tone from the originals as in the prequels, you're going to think that they're the worst movies of all time. But if you know what to expect in tone, it makes the movies very different, and they're more so, in my opinion, comedies. And if you look at it through the comedy lens, I think they make the movie a lot better. And I don't mean comedy as in like, look how bad this thing is, let's laugh at how bad it is, but I mean a comedy in the classical sense of what a comedy is.
Jaja misa no ha. I would recommend, you know, if anyone was new to Star Wars, start with Episode 1, Phantom Menace. Watch it chronologically. Attack the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, Rogue One, New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. To me, that is the Star Wars canon, right through there. And if you watch it in that order, it exponentially makes more sense.
I would throw in Han Solo right before Rogue One. I'm kidding.
And, you know, Solo was a film that had it was a real average film with above average moments. But unfortunately, that's the inverse. You know, that's not what you want.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the Kessel Run, primarily. The Kessel Run in Han Solo was very underwhelming, especially when it's hyped up. You know, completed the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs.
Yeah, I agree. It was funny to see what's his name,
But
Childish
Donald
Gambino as
Donald Glover was amazing as Lando.
You thought so?
Yeah, I thought he was amazing as Lando.
I don't know about amazing.
I always support the Greendale 7.
I think it was funny. Like he played it well, but I wouldn't say amazing. But I would say he did good. Yeah.
Oh, I thought he nailed it. I think the struggle was in, you know, how are you gonna step in fucking Harrison Ford's shoes, man?
Yeah, that's tough.
That's such a huge ask.
Yeah, that's huge.
You know, and if you're not gonna nail the character, then the plot needs to be fucking iron tight. And unfortunately, it wasn't.
I think that's a trend with Star Wars in general, is that plots are always very fluid, and especially ever since the original trilogy, plots and plot devices and storytelling very messy. And
well,
you know,
I would actually disagree with you on that concerning the first 6 films. I think, and perhaps it's the fault. Perhaps, I mean, I personally don't adhere to this, but I would entertain the idea. When George Lucas wrote episodes 4 through 6, he adhered to Joseph Campbell's Hero of a Thousand Faces. Joseph Campbell was this academic who studied mythology, and he found patterns throughout different mythologies of the world and mapped story structures and into a book called The Hero of a Thousand Faces, the call to action, crossing the threshold, creating these tropes, you know, the elderly wizard, the boy who wants more, the wayward princess, you know, the swashbuckler and his sidekick. These all come from that book, Hero of a Thousand Faces. Maybe the fault in Star Wars, if someone was to claim one, is that perhaps there wasn't enough evolution from that starting point.
I think you swayed me. I think you yeah, I think that's very much so. Either that or that, you know, they didn't take into account like any other sort of story structure. Like you said, evolution from that point, but also they didn't include anything else. Like, I mean, they kind of did with I could see the Christian influence of the prequels, where it's just like Immaculate Conception, and because
almost every hero is in the hero genre is a Masonic sort of figure, and the conflict there is whether that Masonic figure will, you know, achieve a higher level of understanding, you know, via like Jesus, or the fall from grace. You know, that's the conflict of Anakin. You know he is the chosen one. You know he's the Masonic figure.
Yeah.
The conflict is, which road will he take? The road to hell or the road to heaven? That Harry Potter, same thing.
Yeah.
You know,
I
Aragorn,
agree.
Frodo, same thing.
Frodo.
So
yeah, I agree. I do not disagree with you at all. You swayed me.
I swayed you.
Your host, yeah. His name is Jose. But anyways, went on a bit of a tangent there, but that's totally fine. I think it's time for us to get to these weekly recommendations. Yay! It's time. So Quinn, what is your first recommendation?
My first recommendation, and I'm very excited to talk about it, is the HBO series Hardknocks. Back in our lives. Back in our lives. We got football back in our lives, ladies and gentlemen. And who better to bring you into this world than the greatest head coach in the NFL currently, Sean, the Wonder Boy McVay, and the LA Rams. And their dutiful sidekicks, the LA Chargers.
I thought you were gonna say that the Chargers head coach is the best in the NFL. I was about to laugh my ass off.
You know what I will say? Anthony Lynn, who's the head coach of the Chargers, I was actually very impressed. I was actually very impressed with his leadership and his command over that franchise.
Yeah.
He's a good coach, man. He is a good coach.
Yeah, he's not bad. He's not bad.
You know, that team, irrehensible, but good coach. Good coach.
It's funny with Anthony Lynn, though, is because, like, as a Raiders fan, like, you always, I mean, I've watched so many Chargers games with him. It's just like, and I can't even count anymore. But he always looks so lost on the sideline. He's just like, it's so funny. He looks like he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. So for you to be like, no, he's a good coach. He knows what he's doing. And it's just, okay, that's just his face, which I totally am. I understand because people think I look pissed all the time, even when I'm not. So like, I can relate to him in that respect.
But it was really cool. And it gave me some seed of hope that an NFL season will happen, seeing, the levels of precaution that the Rams and the Chargers were taking to attempt to have a safe, successful season. And, I will say Anthony Lynn said one thing in this episode that I think is very true. The team that handles this best will win the Super Bowl. The team that responds and adapts best to the pandemic will win the Super Bowl. So that's going to be very interesting to see. It's almost a guarantee that the Patriots will not make it to the playoffs this year, which is awesome. And, very awesome to see Sean McVay, working his magic. Quick FU to ESPN for trying to take Sean McVay from the LA Rams and put him in the Monday Night Football booth. Quite honestly, that is disgusting, and ESPN should be fined for tampering.
Wow.
Sean McVay is under contract with the LA Rams, and these motherfuckers are trying to get him, to be on TV. How in the NBA is old dork face butt fuck on the Golden State Warriors going to get a tampering fine for reaching out to Devin Booker, and the ESPN isn't get a tampering fine for trying to hire a fucking head coach?
I mean, I don't disagree. Actually,
so to ESPN, sincerely, fuck you from the Rams fan base.
Wow, so now that ESPN is out of your good graces, are you more of a CBS or Fox guy?
No, I'm an ESPN Plus guy.
Oh,
it is what it is, man. It's like the Democratic Party. They're gonna continue to let me down, but I'm so fucking entrenched. There's no way out.
Yeah, I agree.
I just have to suffer, and take it up the ass.
I mean, yeah, that's true. It's very true. That's kind of sad, which kind of segues us into my first recommendation. Just as the guys in Paper Airplanes, used very sad themes to, give context to their EP, that's exactly what I'm going to use for this recommendation. I recommend you to go listen to Stay Away from our guest of this episode, Paper Airplanes. It's a great, easy 5-song listen. You could find it, like they said, anywhere, but you can get your music even on Napster for you OGs out there. And I think they even said LimeWire for you, even ORGs out there. So it's a great, great listen if you're into grungy, pop, punk, There's a lot of different influences though that you can hear. If you're a fan of guitar solos, they got you. If you're a fan of some angst, they got you. Some sadness, they got you. Some good vibes with the beat, they got you. Just as Quinn said in the episode, great drum work on this, as well as just great instrumentation across the board. And it is mixed very well by the gentleman, I believe, Trevor, I think they said his name was, from the band Private Coast. Give this EP a listen and subscribe to them, or I follow them on Spotify. Also give them a follow on Instagram. Paperairplanes.ca, I believe, is their Instagram handle. So that's my first recommendation. Just had to plug the guests.
And if I could, support your local musicians, support your local artists. They are direct reflections of the culture of your area. So, support them. It doesn't have to be financially, but, lend your support to them.
Yep.
Or whoever is your local artist in any medium. Just if you vibe with them, support them.
Yeah, and support can be in many ways, like Quinn said. You can just share. Just if you maybe you listen to Paper Airplanes, for example, and it's not really for you, but if you know people that would really like it, pass it on to them.
Right.
That things like that help a lot. I know as an artist that really does help. So thank you for that, Quinn. Yes.
Word of mouth.
Thank you for that. So what's your second one?
My second recommendation is a weekly program on YouTube that I watch religiously. Everyone who knows me knows that I am a diehard MMA fan, that, it is my primary sport outside of, the Los Angeles Rams. This program is called Morning Combat, and it's hosted by Luke Thomas and Brian Campbell. The reason why these guys are my favorite, and I've been following Luke Thomas well before he was host of the MMA Hour and, the MMA Beat when he was featured on that. I really appreciate this show and this guys because it gives you a look into the MMA world untainted by the influences of certain promotions or corporations. And, I'm not saying that the ESPN programs are, not worthy, but, they are naturally and understandably, they're biased to a certain degree. With these fellas, not so much, not at all. I feel you get real good content, smart content, Morning Combat Dissected, where Luke Thomas breaks down the techniques in the fight in a real easy and digestible way for MMA neophytes. I know, if you listen to me, all I'm doing is recapping, a real amateur recap of the fights. If you listen to these boys, you're getting into the nitty gritty, into the weeds, and MMA is a sport, especially considering the success that the UFC and MMA has had in this pandemic. It's a sport that deserves a real close diagnosis, and I truly feel that Morning Combat is the best place to get that. So I recommend, if you're an MMA fan or even if you're a neophyte who's looking to get into it, Morning Combat, Luke Thomas, Brian Campbell, YouTube. That's where I watch it. I highly recommend it. It's my favorite MMA program.
I'm definitely going to check it out. I missed the pay-per-view. That was last night or on Saturday for those of you listening to it on Wednesday. Tremendous main event. Yeah, hearing you talk about it, I'm going to have to go back and watch the replay of it, but I'm definitely going to check out that YouTube channel as well. What was it one more time? It's
Morning Combat with a K, kind of like Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
It's a play on that. YouTube, just type it in the search bar, Morning Combat, Luke Thomas, Brian Campbell, take you right there, and great stuff.
Perfect.
Top notch, top shelf.
Definitely gonna check it out. Thank you for that. Okay, so the last recommendation for the week. It's a show that I recently just started watching last night. Actually, I've been actually watching a significant amount of Netflix, and I could have plugged some other shows, but this is the one that's fresh on my mind. It is called Shameless. It is an adaptation of Paul Abbott's series of the same name, UK series from the same name, and it's starred by William H. Macy and Emmy Rossum. I believe that's how you pronounce her name. And basically the premise of the show is there's like this gigantic family living in a really small house, and they're very poor because their father is just like a drunk who lives off of like disability checks and shit like that. And he's just kind of a loser. And the eldest sister, played by Emmy Rossum. Emmy Rossum.
Fantastic actress.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's great, and she takes care of the rest of the family. I'm only in the beginning of the series. There's 10 seasons. It's been going on for a long time, so you really, I can imagine, watch these characters and people develop before your eyes. It started in 2011, and it's still going on till this day, I believe. And it's featured on Showtime. And the first 3 episodes really got me hooked. It's really funny. Like I told Quinn, it's like if you took Arrested Development and mixed it in with Skins UK, that's what you'd get. So if you're a fan of both of those shows, I highly recommend it. You'll really love it. It's very British in its like film style. It's cinematography. Very British, feeling, which is really cool because all of the actors are obviously American. I believe. I'm not entirely sure if they all are, but I believe they are. And honestly, William H. Macy plays his character. He's the father, the patriarch of the family, Frank Gallagher.
Amazing.
Plays him perfectly. Like, it's amazing how good this guy is. He really makes you feel like he is this kind of like piece of shit dad. And he plays it miraculously. So definitely give Shameless a watch if you haven't already. People have been telling me to watch the show for so long. I'm so glad I finally did. It's quickly become, my favorite show as of right now. So definitely give it a watch. So with that, I guess we are going to wrap it up. Please follow us on Instagram at The Closers Podcast, on Facebook at Closers Podcast, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are The Closers Podcast. To give you a little bit of a preview for next week's show, we're going to continue our 3-part series, the second installment of our 3-part series on cults. Quinn is going to come at us, me and Gabby. He's going to come at us with some info on Waco and the Branch Davidians, I believe they're called.
Yep. It's going to be a fun time. We're not going to get too much into the origin of the Branch Davidians, as we did with Jonestown. We're going to focus more on the conflict itself, the 51-day standoff between the United States government and the Branch Davidians in the Waco compound, the political implications of that, the moral implications of that. It's going to be a real illuminating, at least I hope so. It's going to be an illuminating conversation. As with everything in life, there's more than meets the eye to the story of Waco and the Branch Davidians. So it's going to be a good time. Check it out.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you very much, and we will talk to you. I will talk to you on Friday to close out your week in style. But to close out this episode, here is Paper Airplanes. Have a great rest of your week.
Tried to forget you, but